What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be installing this Evap Canister relocation kit on my 2007 JK. And the reason I'm doing that, one, the little paper thin skid plate that was on there rusted out, but I'm planning on putting a different muffler and a different exhaust on there, and it's just in my way. So I started looking into what I would need to do the DIY way, and honestly, for this was like $110 or something. To me, it just seemed worth it. So I haven't even opened it yet. Let's check out what's in the box.
Holy crap, there's enough packing material in here. Gee whiz.
So this is what rehangs it. Pretty nice. Can't forget the stickers. You got a couple chunks of the 5/8 hose to reroute the lines to it, and then basically mounting hardware. Seems pretty simple. Like I said, I could have found some hose and found some hardware and whipped up some kind of a plate kit, but I'm really busy with other projects right now, and I just wanted to get this one done, and this just seemed like a fair price to me. Some of the other kits I saw were like over $200, so this one being only like $100 was pretty nice. Unless I missed something in there, this pretty much consists of it. You got 4 clamps for the hoses, kind of a rubber spacer isolator, 2 bolts and 2 riv nuts, and then they give you one of these bolts to help set the riv nuts, but I have a riv nut tool, so I'll probably just use that instead, and this little bolt. And I don't see any instructions in here, but oh hey, looky there, QR code. As someone who installs something all the time, I kind of got a beef with everybody switching to QR codes, especially when they print a paper with a QR code that they could have just printed the instructions on. Because when you're an installer, you don't have time to keep getting your phone out every time, especially on like big lift kits and on stuff where you need to keep accessing it. It gets really annoying having to keep going back to your phone to look at the damn thing, but I'm sure this one will be simple enough that it's not going to matter too much. Crawl under here and I'll show you where it's at, where it goes. So that is the Evap, and the skid is completely gone from it. And you can see my exhaust is right here, and the new muffler is going to go kind of right in this area. And what they have you do is relocate it from there. I believe it goes up to this cross member somewhere, bolts on here, and then tucks it up in this cavity right up in here. Haven't looked up those instructions yet, but I'm pretty sure that's where the website kind of showed it going. And then those hoses, I'm guessing you just clamp them onto the end of these hard plastic hoses and move them. Thinking that I might go ahead and put this thing on jack stands just to get a little more room. Pretty much first thing it wants you to do is just unhook this thing and get it down. It said to use a 16, but I think those are 15s. Let's see how hard these are to get off. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Dang. Oh, these just got little squeezy tabs. Well, heck, that was easy. I don't know, the 15 doesn't want to fit on there, but the 16 is definitely kind of loose. Gotta be careful on this thing, it's so rusty, I don't want to break stuff. Just kind of running it in and out because it's getting stuck. Oh boy. Glad I'm not doing that manually. It's gonna be hot. Gotta love the Midwest and rust. Okay, the 15 goes on this one. Oh no! Yeah, it's gonna round it. Shit. Figured this was gonna happen. It's a good thing I don't need this bracket. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. Yep, she's completely rounded off. We'll just use the old quick disconnect. Squirrel moment. My pinion seal's leaking. Have to get that fixed. Holy cow, brake already. Good as new. And now I gotta free this up so we can extend it to where it needs to go. This guy pivots on this little joint right here, so you can actually just twist it to get it to point back. So I'm gonna tuck it up and above the filler neck hose, and we'll worry about that later. This one, not so much, but it does say later on to cut this 4 inches down, and then that hose goes between this piece and this piece, so that allows it to curve into wherever it's going to live, which is up there somewhere. And then I went ahead and cut these 2 zip ties right here. So now I have that electrical. I fed it up and over the cross member, and it's up there where it goes. So now we need to mark and drill the holes for the bracket up in that cross member over that way. I went ahead and printed these out. I've got this little rubber bumper installed already, but it doesn't really give you exactly where to put it, but it just shows the slot in the bracket nestling over where that hole is. And then you have to run the wire harness through that slot before you bolt it on there. So we'll see if we can find that hole in the cross member and do all that. Looks good enough to me. It says to drill these to 17/30 seconds. I don't have that bit, but that's just smidge over 1/2 inch. So we'll get it up to 1/2 inch and see if I can pound those nuts in or not. Probably should go get some safeties. Yeah, no. So I can either hog this out, or I can see if maybe a step bit will do it. I just remembered that I have these big mama drill bits, and the 9/16 is just a little oversized. It's seen better days, but it'll go through. Oh yeah, they're a little loose, but hopefully tightening them up will do the trick. I'm gonna see if my nutsert tool has one that will fit these. Otherwise we'll use this little bolt. Of course, these are 3/8 standard, and 5/16 is the biggest one I have for my tools, so we have to use this bolt. And basically what you do is you just hold this nut with a wrench. It's oversized so it doesn't thread on there, and then you just tighten the bolt, and as you tighten it, it just squishes the rib nut. So see if I can do that while also holding it up in there without falling out. Ooh, I should just get off the impact. It's just now starting to bulge it, so it won't hold itself in there yet. It's a fine line between tight enough and you just broke the bolt off in it. The hardest part is getting it to start squishing. Once it starts squishing, it usually goes a little easier. Let's see if I can get a feel for this by hand. And that's it. See if I can get you guys a better angle on the next one. So moving on back to this thing, it's got these 3 plastic tabs that nest down in there. This one had a tab bent in, so I pried that out, and I've essentially, you just got to get it to slide up and disconnect, but so far it hasn't wanted to cooperate. I don't want to pry on these because they're plastic. I'm sure there's a trick to getting these off there, but we're just gonna dig around with the screwdriver and see what we can do. If I hit the plate down while that's up against that, that would in theory do the same thing. Okay, that's working. Bingo! That didn't even take 30 seconds. I already got a freaking blood blister. Dang it. So the newer JKs, like 2012 and up, the instructions say something about clocking this 180 degrees, but I don't think that applies to this one. It looks different in the picture they show, so if you got a newer one, that's probably one of the differences. And in fact, it has more than just two hoses. It has like two small ones and a big one. And this is pretty well how this sits in there. They clip in there the same way. I'm not going to do it yet. Once you get this one all the way in, it's kind of got that tang just like the factory one did that you probably bend over so that it can't pop out of there. I'm going to get a little dab of Tin Man in a can on these bolts just in case I ever got to pull them out. So it says something about snaking that wire harness through there. So I figured I'd throw the bracket up there and give it a test fit, which, surprise, it doesn't fit right. And I just thought it would, some reason it would be easy to just click this canister in once the bracket is in place. And we're about to see just how wrong I was. And if you've ever done a project like this, or pretty much any project, you know this is just kind of how it goes. Oh geez, did I drill my holes off center? It doesn't quite want to line up with the nutsert. Whole bunch of bullshit. I don't know about you guys, but I'm always doing this with freaking holes. I'll mark two holes, I'll drill them, and one of them is always just a little bit off. That's all she needed. This freaking e-brake cable could be in a better spot, jeez. I feel like this should have gotten installed before you put the thing up there, but maybe that's just me, because I cannot see a god dang thing. Ooh, something clicked, but it's only one of them. Yeah, I'm putting this on the ground. Fuck this. That didn't work so well, so I'm going to try to lock it in here, but I got a feeling it's going to be really hard to wrestle this whole thing up in there. I don't see how I was ever going to bend that tang down with it up in there either, especially since you got to bend it up. That's why I wouldn't go in. I didn't have that bent up and out of the way. Ugh. Jeez. There, now that's bent back in, so it shouldn't be able to come out of there. See if it'll go back in. With the canister bolted on there, I couldn't get it in the back way, so I had to kind of come around the other side of the axle to even get it up in there. There we go. Haha. Oh, I've lost the bolt. This is my life. Later. Oh, after a titanic struggle, I've managed to find the other bolt. I don't know anybody on this planet that loses more hardware than I do. I don't like that. I don't know why it's not pulling itself up tight against the body, but I'm about to put more bend in this so that it sits up against that rubber bump. Yeah, that's gonna drive me nuts, especially if I can hear that rattling around. Update, I didn't do anything to fix that, and I've never once heard it while driving, so it's just gonna stay like that. So this is that one that I twisted up and over the filler neck, and the tip of it's right there, and they want you to just take this little short rubber off and put the shorter one of the two that they give you in the kit on and put some clamps on it. And the hose has a curve in it, so just match the curve to the way it has to go there. And we'll squeeze those tight with some pliers. We're gonna get this one to 180. It does want us to cut this off, so then I imagine that the hose just does the 180. Measure once, cut twice. So then this will go back on here. So this is the one that I have to meet with that, and they're both like pointing the same way kind of, but I bet if I cut this off shorter I could do a loop with that one. So if we put that up there, put that on there and clamp it, then yeah, we could technically cut that off way up there. Sucker don't want to go in, I better give it the old hawk and spit on that thing. You thought I was joking too. So that's what we're left with. We got our rubber hose, we got this. I don't want to cut too much and then have to wrestle it way up in there, so I'm probably just going to cut it right after this bend, and then this excess can just go live over there somewhere and I'll zip tie it up. That seems like it'll work. Well, that's bottomed out, so I hope it's tight enough to make a good seal. So I'll try to give you guys different angles of this. It's not really all that much to it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot the electrical connector. That would have been funny. Give her a couple zip ties and call it a day. That install turned out super easy. We'll fire it up, see if it throws any codes or anything. I don't think it's going to. That took me about an hour, and that's with jockeying with the camera and everything. So super easy and way quicker than it would have been to build my own, and now I can move on to the next thing. This wasn't like a sponsored deal. I paid for this. I just wanted to show the install. But anyway, hope it helps. Thanks for watching.